We actually do need to care what other people think.
Stay in the woods.
Despite years of proclaiming that don't care what other people think, deep down we still care way too much about what other people think about us and way too little about what other people think or their well-being. And I do not like the saying, let's agree to disagree, or there's always two sides to every argument, as these, instead of being well-meaning, are really just kind of deflection cliches people use to either not say what they honestly think or to ignore listening to you altogether. Emerson said that one who can be himself in solitude is great, but the real genius is to be oneself as well with freedom in the midst of others. So, how do we do that in our society? How do we have that type of freedom in this ever-growing social media bombardment of other people's opinions and without retreating to our dangerous echo chambers? Ironically, perhaps rather than that well-meaning advice of don't care what other people think, maybe it's time to try what that is supposed to really mean, which is don't care what other people think about you, and yet still care what other people think and about them. After all, greater confidence is possible with greater humility, and greater humility is possible with greater confidence. And not because I care so much about what other people think about me or need their validation, but because I am confident enough to sincerely care about others. In a word, that is empathy. See, we see ourselves, as the saying goes, as life living amongst life that wishes to live. I personally am a spiritual, faith-based person, but even if you're not, you can still appreciate the metaphor of this significance and the axiom it gives us, the golden rule. And that is, love God with all your mind, heart, body, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. I interpret this personally to mean we are all divine miracles. And likewise, we each have something profound to add to this experience of being. And we're always en route to a better version of ourselves and expressing that which we truly are. Love God, find your highest thoughts, in solitude perhaps, and then share those with others and celebrate others. The more we love ourselves, the more we love our neighbor. The more we love our neighbor, the more we love ourselves. And so we can more easily speak our truth with freedom, all while being open to feedback and humble enough for accountability. This approach helps us live freely, influence the world in a meaningful way that's congruent with our highest thoughts and sense of self, and ignore the things that don't matter and still celebrate and learn from the life around us. And we can always keep then making adjustments to better accomplish that which we seek and express in our highest goals as we move forward. Live, listen, learn, and live more freely. Celebrating yourself and your neighbor as we all venture onwards, outwards, and upwards into the new year. So in conclusion, perhaps better advice than don't care what other people think should actually be interpreted or given as care what you think, and don't worry what others think about you, and yet still care deeply for others. So do you care what you think, and do you care what others think?